Welcome to Design a Flipped Classroom. I'm so excited to be spending the next week with all of you to talk about flipped learning in this online workshop. I'm the Online Learning Consortium OLC Workshop faculty, which means I will be facilitating your asynchronous learning experiences as you engage with me with the learning materials, explore this topic, discuss with your peers, and plan your own flipped learning experience. My name is Laura Pasquini, and I love to think about how learning can be effective and engaging, so flipped learning design offers a few ways to enhance any course, class, or training experience. Here's a bit about me. I'm a seasoned learning experience designer, researcher, and instructor and trainer. My teaching research explores mentoring, learning environments, network practices, digital professional development, and collaboration online for education, informal learning, and workplace learning and performance. So I'm a big fan of making learning solutions effective and engaging. So flipped design is an excellent way to support active learning, peer collaboration, and activities to transfer the training experience. More of my work can be found here at my TechnoTools site, so feel free to peruse. Well, what exactly is flipped learning? This website is flippedlearning.org, and I thought they had a really good definition of flipped learning that we're going to draw upon and talk about just to get started. Flipping the learning experience is also known as inverting learning or taking a pedagogy-first approach to instruction. This is where the learning materials for a course, training session, or workshop are introduced outside of the designated class meeting session. The time spent either in person or during an asynchronous online meeting is repurposed for inquiry, application, and assessment in order to better meet the needs of individual learners. There are 4 pillars of flipped that I thought I'd introduce you to. They are, by the basic word of flip, is FLIP. F is for flexible environment. It allows a variety of learning modules and modes and ways to engage. L is for learning culture. In the traditional teacher-centered model, the teacher's primary source, but by contrast, the flipped takes a learner-centered approach where the class time is dedicated to in-depth activities and rich learning opportunities. The I is for intentional content. So thinking about, we determine the needs for what happens around the materials we're trying to educate and train our learners on. And P is for professional educator. So this time is looking at educators being reflective in their practice, connect with each other, and improve their instruction. I put a link where you could read more about this 4 pillars here in the notes, so feel free to take a peruse. The main goal in flipping a class is to cultivate deep, engaging experiences and promote active learning. This is where the instructor is more of a facilitator, coach, or guide on the side to emphasize higher order thinking skills and application to complex problems. Common activities include collaborative learning, peer guided inquiry, case-based learning, role playing, peer instruction, problem sets, and more. Tell me about yourself as we get started. You're going to pop into the introduction section, and I really want to know, for this workshop, I would love to learn more about your professional background experience and what brings you to the workshop. So you'll take a moment to click on the Please Introduce Yourself and start a thread. I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you and why you've joined the Flipped Learning. I've put a prompt there for you to write about. And I really want to know what you want to get out of the course. And we'll talk about being multimodal and how we can flip these experiences along the way. So as you can see, when you go to the main course site, you are going to find all the information under workshop content and activities in the Moodle course site. You will find the learning materials in modules 1 and modules 2, and you just have to click on those to see the learning areas. Here, the learning objectives are discuss the benefits and challenges of flipped learning design models and design a flipped learning design plan appropriate for your course. Here's a brief overview of what you'll be learning in the next 2 modules. So in Module 1, we are going to introduce flipped learning for online learning. So you're going to do some reading through these materials, and you can click through by arrows, or you can click through by the menu here to the left. So if you want to go through, scroll through and read, there's going to be lots of resources for you to click through and read. Either use the menu approach, scrolling down and clicking on what we're going to be discussing. For Module 1, after you finish reading these 4 different areas, you're going to talk about your flip design models and choose which best way to resolve and organize a flipped learning experience. So you're going to talk a little bit about your ideas and work them out loud on the first discussion post that's listed here, discussion 2. Then for flipped module 2, you're going to read and look at tools and tips for flipping the online classroom. So we're going to talk about how and what you might do first, the what you might do and the why and the purpose. And then module 2 gets into the where do you do it and how do you do it. So you are going to once again read through tools and tips. There's some optional resources. I've put down a PDF and a linked out option online for you to access. But you can click through the tips and tools and see some different strategies for inverting your classroom. Clicking through, you'll also want to get an idea for ways that you can put in active learning and teaching. And the last one is the tools for flipping. So I've curated a list you can download. So if you click, the full list is here, and you can click out links individually. But if you want a copy of this to save for later and also to explore, this will bring you out to just a simple doc that can give you those as well. So thinking about the last assignment for this in Module 2, after you go through and read through some of this work, your assignment's going to look like this. So you're going to come up with things your learners are going to do outside of the classroom and maybe online, and then in class, which it could be a virtual instructor-led class these days. So flipping doesn't mean in class doesn't have to be in person. It could be an active synchronous session. So whether you're meeting on Adobe Connect, Zoom, WebEx, think about the different kind of in-class synchronous activities, and then the outside class, online, and asynchronous things you want your learners to do. So you're going to talk about a few different areas. So these are just some examples given up here. You're going to complete your own learning topic. You'll pick one subject or focus area. And what are the goals for this learning? So what are your desired outcomes? And you're going to think about these both asynchronous outside of class, and then in class asynchronous for that virtual instructor-led piece. You can share the technologies you want to try out for this flip and any references or ideas. And these can be references within the course. We'll talk more about this again, but I just thought I'd highlight this here. So this will be the flipped learning design worksheet you work on. Here's to exploring and designing flipped learning. I hope that you do find ways that you can engage in flipped learning. I put a link to the hashtag as well, because you might find some new suggestions and ideas and benefits of flipped learning outside reading in the course. I look forward to getting to know all of you and your interests, and I hope that we'll start talking about flipped learning experience that relates directly to your needs and your work.